When you think about roots reggae in the 1990s, one name always rises to the top: Buju Banton. With his deep, gravelly voice and unapologetic lyrics, Buju became one of the most influential and controversial figures in reggae and dancehall. From Champion to Untold Stories, his music has carried messages of struggle, resilience, and redemption. But behind the hits and the legacy lies another story: the feuds, the fallouts, and the bitter rivalries that shaped Buju's journey in the industry. Over the years, Buju clashed with fellow artists, producers, and even industry insiders. And now at 52, he isn't holding back. He's finally calling out the 7 artists he truly couldn't stand. Some of these names you might see coming, but trust me, a few will leave you shocked. Stick around, because number 5 is where things really start to heat up. Number 1. Vybz Kartel. Born Adidja Azim Palmer, better known as Vybz Kartel, he's one of the most polarizing names in dancehall history. Kartel has built a reputation as a lyrical genius with razor-sharp wordplay, provocative lyrics, and a rebellious public persona. To many, he's a folk hero who reshaped dancehall. To others, he's a troublemaker who thrives on controversy. And when it comes to Buju Banton, the two never saw eye to eye. In fact, their feud brewed on 3 major fronts. It all started back in 2002 during a live show. Vybz Kartel was performing when, out of nowhere, Buju Banton stormed the stage, grabbed the mic, and cut him off. To the crowd, it looked like Buju was trying to re-establish his dominance, reminding everyone that he was still the elder statesman of reggae and dancehall. But for Kartel, it felt like blatant disrespect. From that moment, the tension between them was clear. This wasn't just 2 artists on the same bill. It was 2 egos colliding. Over the years, Buju has always represented conscious reggae culture, roots, and morality. Kartel, on the other hand, leaned into the gritty realities of street life, with lyrics about guns, sex, and raw survival. Their musical philosophies were total opposites. Buju saw Kartel's approach as dangerous for the youth, while Kartel viewed Buju as outdated and unwilling to accept how dancehall had evolved. This clash of values only widened the gap between them, and fans began to take sides. Fast forward to late September 2025, and the fire reignited. Buju took to social media with a cryptic post aimed at artists he said were robbing the people by failing to truly entertain their fans. Many fans instantly decoded it as a shot at Vybz Kartel. And Kartel didn't take it lightly. In a very public move, he unfollowed Buju Banton on social media, sparking another round of online debates and commentary. And despite both being giants in their own right, peace between them seems unlikely anytime soon. Moving on to number 2, Junior Reid. Now here's a name that reggae fans know well. Delroy Junior Reid isn't just another artist in the industry, he's a veteran. A man whose voice carried Black Uhuru through the late 80s and who went on to build a powerful solo career. Songs like One Blood gave him international respect, and his label, JR Productions, became a stronghold in dancehall and roots reggae. At one point, you'd think he and Buju Banton could have been allies. In fact, they even worked together. Back in 2001, Reid brought Buju on a track called Wanted, which later ended up on Reid's Living Legend album. For a moment, it looked like unity, but behind the scenes, things were far from peaceful. From Buju's side, there were 3 big reasons the relationship soured and why he carried that resentment for years. First, there was the issue of disrespect. Around 2008, the tension exploded at a concert in Miami. Buju, always known for being outspoken, allegedly made sharp comments toward Junior Reid in front of his daughter. Reid felt his family was disrespected when Buju dismissed him publicly and even threw shade by twisting his name, calling him Junior Greed. From Buju's perspective, though, this wasn't random. He believed Reid had been acting shady in business, and he let the world know how he felt. Second, Buju saw greed where Reid claimed there was business. When Wanted was re-released in 2004 under Reid's label, Buju reportedly felt like Reid was profiting off his voice without giving him the proper credit or compensation he deserved. For Buju, it wasn't just about money, it was about respect and fairness. He felt like Reid played him dirty, and once that trust was broken, the animosity only grew. Third, the biggest insult of all came when Buju tried to extend an olive branch. Backstage after a show, he reached out to greet Junior Reid, maybe even as a way to squash the tension. Instead, Reid gave him the cold shoulder, refusing his handshake and firing back accusations that Buju was two-faced. For Buju, that moment stung deeply in reggae culture. Disrespecting a man's gesture of peace can cut harder than any lyric. From that point forward, their feud turned into a full-blown Cold War. For over 14 years, Buju carried that grudge, and the two clashed in interviews, music, and in the streets of Kingston's tight-knit reggae circles. Buju made it clear that Junior Reid wasn't someone he held in high regard, and many fans picked sides in the feud. By May 2022, the two finally stood side by side again at Stone Love's Weddy Weddy party, publicly acknowledging each other after more than a decade of bitterness. The crowd celebrated, but if you look closer, there's still a lingering tension. Yes, they smiled and hugged for the cameras, but from Buju's side, it's hard to believe all those years of anger and betrayal just disappeared overnight. The history between them left scars that don't heal easily, and that's why Junior Reid lands firmly on Buju's list of artists he hated most. Number 3. Beenie Man. It's no shock that he makes Buju Banton's list of hated artists. Beenie Man is a Grammy-winning legend, often called the King of Dancehall, and he and Buju actually shared the stage in collaborations like Woman a Sample in the 90s and We Set the Principle in 2004. On paper, that sounds like brotherhood. But behind the scenes, it was anything but smooth sailing. First, Buju never forgot Beenie Man's reaction to his 2011 prison sentence. When Buju was locked away on drug charges, the industry was shaken. Some showed support, others stayed quiet, but Beenie Man openly expressed surprise and even a bit of disappointment. From Buju's side, this felt less like concern and more like judgment. At a time when he needed unity, Beanie's words came off as throwing shade, and that cut deep. There was also the problem of competition disguised as respect. Buju has always seen himself as a serious artist, rooted in reggae and culture, while Beenie often leaned into flashy, crowd-pleasing dancehall. Even during collaborations, Buju felt like Beenie tried to outshine him, to grab the spotlight. For Buju, that constant push and pull for dominance created friction that never went away. The feud came roaring back in 2025. At a King of the Dancehall event, Beenie Man name dropped Buju alongside Vybz Kartel and Shabba Ranks, sparking fresh controversy. To outsiders, it may have looked like a casual comparison, but to Buju, it felt like Beenie was using his name to boost his own status, dragging him into a competitive battle he didn't ask for. It reignited old wounds and reminded Buju why he never trusted Beenie fully in the first place. So even with their history of making music together, Buju's resentment toward Beenie Man has lingered for decades. Public smiles aside, there's a rivalry there that never died, and that's why Beenie Man firmly lands on this list. Number 4. Conscience. Next up is Garfield Delano Spence, better known as Conscience. He represents a younger generation of dancehall, with hits that have reached far beyond Jamaica. But in Buju Banton's eyes, Conscience crossed a line in 2021, and that sparked a feud that still simmers today. It all began with a comment. During an interview, Buju made waves when he declared that Vybz Kartel was still running dancehall even from behind prison walls. At the time, Kartel was serving a life sentence for murder, later overturned. Buju went further, questioning why no current dancehall artist had truly stepped up to carry the genre forward. His point was blunt. Too many artists were slacking, letting Kartel dominate the scene despite being locked away. Conscience took it personally. For him, Buju's words weren't just criticism of the industry, they were a slap in the face to hardworking artists like himself. Conscience felt disrespected, as if Buju was dismissing the entire new wave of dancehall talent. He publicly fired back, saying Banton's comments undermined the progress being made in the genre. From Buju's side, though, he saw Conscience as thin-skinned, unable to take constructive criticism about the state of dancehall. Buju believed Conscience was more focused on popularity than substance, making music that lacked the depth and message Buju felt reggae and dancehall needed. And when Conscience took the issue to the public, it felt to Buju like betrayal, airing out industry tensions in front of fans instead of handling it man to man. Even after Kartel's release and the evolution of dancehall, Buju has never truly forgiven Conscience for challenging him publicly. Number 5. Spice. She may be the queen of dancehall, but for Buju Banton, Spice is far from royalty in his book. Their clash started when Buju openly criticized Afrobeats, calling it shallow and saying it lacked the cultural weight of reggae and dancehall. For Buju, music isn't just about a beat, it's supposed to carry a message, a spiritual vibration. So when Afrobeats began taking over globally, he saw it as a threat, and he wasn't shy about voicing his disapproval. But Spice wasn't having it. She fired back, defending Afrobeats and pointing out that it's not just party music legends like Fela Kuti and Baba built the genre on strong cultural and conscious messages. To her, Buju was unfair, dismissing a whole generation of African artists who were doing the same work reggae once did. From Buju's side, though, this was betrayal. He saw Spice, a Jamaican artist, siding with what he considered the enemy. Instead of standing up for reggae and dancehall, she was lifting up another genre that was overshadowing them. For him, it was a slap in the face, not just disagreement, but disloyalty. Add to that Spice's outspoken, no-holds-barred style, and Buju felt like she was publicly undermining his voice as an elder in the music business. Every defense she made for Afrobeats deepened the divide, and in his eyes, she wasn't just challenging his opinion, she was challenging his legacy. That's why even if they've shared the same stages before, Spice sits firmly on Buju's list of artists he just can't forgive. Number 6. Popcaan. His feud with Buju runs deeper than music. It cuts into family, loyalty, and pride. Things started to sour when Buju's son, Marcus Myrie, got tangled up in a messy fallout with Popcaan. Marcus accused I-Octane of disrespecting him just because Marcus showed support for Popcaan. Suddenly, Buju's name was being dragged into a web of friendships and rivalries, and Popcaan was right at the center. The real crack came with that infamous Toyota Mark X incident. Popcaan had reportedly borrowed the car through Marcus, only for it to get crashed by someone else. When it came time to take responsibility, things got ugly. Marcus's voice notes leaked online, filled with outrage at how Popcaan handled the situation. For Buju, it wasn't just about a car, it was about respect. If you can't deal fairly with family, then you've already crossed the line. And then there's the music itself. Buju has always positioned himself as a conscious voice, and in his view, Popcaan's brand of dancehall, flashy, street-driven, and often chaotic represents everything wrong with where the genre is heading. So when Popcaan dropped tracks like Relevant, airing out friends turned enemies, Buju took it as a shot across the bow, another reminder that Popcaan wasn't someone to trust. Even though Marcus later said he made peace with Popcaan, Buju never really let go of that bitterness. Family loyalty runs deep, and in Buju's eyes, anyone who disrespected his son disrespected him. That's why the bad blood between Buju and Popcaan is still bubbling beneath the surface. Number 7. Sean Storm. And if you thought things couldn't get any messier after Popcaan, wait till you hear about Sean Storm. Because this one is not just about music, it's about loyalty, camps, and choosing sides. Sean Storm, born Sean Campbell, came up under the wing of Vybz Kartel. By 2008, he already had his first big hit, Ghetto Youths Be Wise. And by 2010, he was officially signed to Kartel's label, Adigiheem Records. From then on, he became Kartel's right-hand man, riding with him through thick and thin. But here's the thing, Buju already had a long, bitter history with Kartel. So anyone who tied themselves to Kartel's camp automatically became an enemy in Buju's eyes. And Sean Storm didn't just stay neutral, he jumped headfirst into the beef. Sean Storm has taken shots at Buju publicly, the harshest being when he straight up called him a big cokehead. For Buju, that wasn't just an insult, it was a full-on attack on his character, especially since his incarceration for drug charges was already a sore point. Buju felt like Sean Storm wasn't even speaking for himself, but just echoing Kartel's hatred. From Buju's side, the disrespect was unforgivable. He saw Sean Storm as a younger artist who should have respected his elders, but instead chose to side with Kartel and stir the pot. And because of that loyalty to Kartel, Buju considers Sean Storm part of the same problem, another enemy keeping the fire of that feud alive. So even today, when people bring up Sean Storm's name, Buju doesn't just see him as an artist, he sees him as an extension of Kartel, and that's more than enough to land him on this list. And that wraps it up, the 7 artists Buju Banton clashed with the most. But now it's over to you. Do you think Buju was right in these feuds, or did some of them go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button for more reggae stories like this. And make sure to like and share so other fans can join the conversation.